We've all heard if your horse is getting too close to the barrel, if your horse is getting too close to the barrel, lift, kick, okay? Guess what? It does not work, right? How many of you have done that? How many have done that? Does it work? No, and I'll tell you why. Okay? I showed you a little bit why that doesn't work, okay? The other part of that, the first part of that is obviously when you're bending the nose and picking up on the inside rein, you're turning them in there more, right? Okay, the other part of that, what do I need to do with my legs if my horse is pointed straight at that barrel? Use my inside leg or use my outside leg? Anybody? Okay, so if I use my outside leg, let me set my hands and do that again. We'll walk up. Let me do my inside leg first. Look at what that did to his hind end, and look at what that did to his shoulders by using the inside leg. Okay, it moved his hip out, turned his shoulders in there. Now what we've done is we've set this horse up, we've taken his power away from him, we've turned him in there too close, and now he's not heavy on the front end. And they don't turn that well on the front end. Okay, they got to have that front end up and their weight loaded on the back end. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to use outside leg on the horse going to the barrels, because sometimes if you put a little outside leg, you can actually push him over a little bit. But if I feel my horse's hip traveling outwards a little bit going to that barrel, I'll reach back with my outside leg and straighten him back up and put that hip in there, because it automatically just straightens up the shoulders. Now, if I'm guiding him to that turn with equal pressure on the rein, okay? If I travel to that barrel at a high rate of speed, you guys see a lot of people will ride to that second barrel with one hand on the rein, okay? And that horse is kind of fading in a little bit as you get there, and then you're just a little bit too close, right? Wow, if you had just come out of that barrel and taken your hand off the horn, and when that horse was pointed in a little bit, just squared him up a little bit and pointed his head out to the right a little bit, rode him up there. When you get ready for the turn, just sit down and keep riding up to that third axis point, okay? So guiding them to the barrels is huge, all right? Let's talk about your hands around the barrels, okay? So when you're going around the barrels, should your hands be down here? Should they be up here? Should they be coming across? Anybody got any good answers? I know I have a few previous students in here. Where should your hands be all the time? Elbows should be bent about right here, okay? They can sit a little bit lower or they can set a little bit higher, okay? To kind of dependent on your horse. But let's see what happens, okay, when your hands drop down around the barrel. Which rein am I pulling on the most? Okay, so that's typically what happens when you start pulling down. You'll start pulling more on this outside rein. Whereas if you have this hand up, now you're going to be pulling more with the inside rein. If you had just had it setting up here, okay? Now, when your hand goes off to the inside, look at what it did to my weight. It brings my weight to the inside, okay? So all of you have seen those pictures, all our barrel racing pictures where you're leaned over, right? The horse is leaned over in the turn, okay? So is that horse going to be more secure, run faster, put out more if you're leaning off with him to the inside, or if you're sitting up here helping his balance? If you're sitting up straight or leaning off, what do you think would make him more comfortable? Sitting up straight. So once again, it all goes hand in hand. You keep this hand sitting here, it's much easier to keep your weight sitting to the outside. All right? So you can start gaining a little confidence in that horse. Okay? Let's talk about the other hand move that isn't that great, which is push it forward. Okay? We've all done that. Anybody here done that? Okay. I've done all these things wrong. Okay? I've done all of them wrong. But for me, my livelihood depended on me winning, and so that's how I learned all this stuff, was figuring it out. I went to the school of rodeo, University of Hard Knocks, and no, things weren't always gold buckles the whole way. There was, 2 and 3 month coal streaks and not winning anything, and gas bills and everything else. So you got to figure out, when you're hungry, you got to figure out what to do. So when you're going into the barrels and you feel that horse getting a little bit short, and you put those reins forward like this, okay? All right, well, the first thing that it does is that now dumps that horse to the front end, okay? And you quit riding with your legs, okay? So basically, they're going to dump to the front out, and you're going to kill them out right there, okay? They're just going to die out on that turn, okay? Whereas when they get heavy on the front end, again, they don't have that power to get out of the turn, and they don't turn as good when they're on the front end. So you're better off to keep that horse in your hands. Some need a little tighter hold, some need a little bit less, but it's always a good rule to keep those elbows bent, keep that horse underneath your hands, and while you're sitting for that turn, then kick with your feet. Kick forward with your feet if you're on that horse that's a little short. Don't forget to ride with your legs, okay? When you go fast, what do you do with your body? You lean forward, okay? So you're sending that horse a mixed signal if you come in here and do this. And then after a while, those horses don't really respond to what you're doing when you're riding. They kind of start doing it themselves. When you start sending them mixed signals, they just start to kind of take over a little bit. Okay? And horses don't always know that they need that room going in to make that turn.
Mom, I need some lunch.
So your eyes have to be looking over the outside ear. Remember, it's okay to be shifty-eyed. You have to move those eyes. Do not let your eyes lock or you will freeze and get stiff in the turn, okay? So your eyes are looking over that outside ear. Your elbow's going to be bent. Your weight's sitting on the outside and your eyes are moving, okay? And if you can do the 3 things that maybe not, it seems simple, but if you can set this hand here, have your weight sitting to the outside and you're looking up over that outside ear, you can do those 3 things. Those horses will work really nice in the turns, okay? That's going around the turns. Now going to the barrels, you have to be very conscious and very aware of, a lot of people will come around that second barrel and keep a hold of that inside rein, and that nose is turning in, and before you know it, you're too tight coming into that barrel. You've got to release that inside rein, redirect a little bit with the outside rein, okay, and keep that horse between your hands, okay? So let's talk a little bit about your legs in the turn, okay? So if you're going around the barrels, and there was quite a few horses here that had come in tight, okay? So we're going to give those horses a little more room. We're going to probably come out at that first axis point 5 to 6 feet, okay? And we're going to get that same distance on those horses up here, all right? So I don't want to use my inside leg anymore because I sure don't want to push them out there anymore. So now what I want to do is I want to put pressure on that outside leg to make them finish, okay? So this horse didn't move off of my leg right there. I'm just going to walk him back around again until I feel him move off of my leg. He's kind of speeding up. He was a little bit tighter there, and if I had spurs on, I'd take my spur and just roll it into him right there. But just see how each time I went around, he got better, got tighter, just with my leg on there. So remember to use all the tools that you have, okay? Don't forget to ride with your legs. I'm going to say that 80% of us quit riding completely with our legs like we're supposed to. Okay? So, but there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. Like I said, it wouldn't be right if you were coming around here and to start using that inside leg. You can already see just from me putting my leg in how much bow and bend I got, okay? And remember that as you're training horses, they learn by repetition, okay? They learn by going around, and you just set your hands here, and you just guide them a little bit. It doesn't take very much to make them come around the barrel. You use just enough pressure to get the job done. And if that doesn't feel good, then just take them back around again. You don't have to get mad. You don't have to get frustrated with them. Just make sure that your hands are working right. Make sure your feet are working correctly. And if you feel those horses' hips going to the outside, make sure you don't have an inside leg on them. I have a lot of people, their hips are coming out. They've got their inside spur dug on them. Then they start using their outside spur and digging into them with both feet, okay? Make sure that inside leg is off of them, okay? Put the outside leg on, and once they move that hip over, take the leg off of them, because they learn by that release, okay? It's just like when you're stopping them, you set your hands, when they stop, then you release them. That's how they learn to stop. It's not from the pull, okay? And above all of it, you can be the best rider, have a really good horse, but if you have a crappy attitude, you're not going to get there, okay? So this girl right here, Sarah, her and her grandmother, they're my inspiration. They have smiles on their faces all the time. I love it. If you are in better spirits and if you're kind of down on yourself, negative, you're going to have a much harder, difficult time, okay? The one thing that I can pick out of the people who win and the people who do good is they expect to win and they do what it takes to win. Okay, and that means the riding, the discipline, the dedication, and it's not just about riding, but it's about learning to take care of them, learning all the things that you have to know to take care of them, to keep them good, and keep them working right. So, you know, throughout this clinic, like, don't think that these little drills tomorrow that we're doing around the barrels are for nothing. They are starting to break that muscle memory, to reteach you, to make you aware of where your hands are, where you're looking. I mean, you would never think the slightest thing of where you're looking can affect how you're running, but it's huge. So you get to think about where your hands are, where you're sitting, where's my weight, okay? That's all the stuff you're going to be trying to grasp tomorrow, okay? And then you'll be putting it together slowly in runs by runs. And some of you are going to do really good tomorrow, and some it may take a little more time at home, a few more weeks, and that's fine. It's taken me on some horses a long time, 3 or 4 months, where I thought I rode him halfway decent, okay? When I rode Scamper, he was a ratey type of a horse, so I really rode hard. I was up over him. When I got on a horse that was a free runner, I sent every one of them past the first barrel, because I didn't have that thing sit down, that I didn't sit down early enough. I didn't prepare early enough, okay? I learned that. And I saw Larry Stevens get on Magic, that paint horse, and make him work perfect every time. I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. So whenever there's a mistake your horse makes, you'll become a better rider if you take that responsibility of how that horse works and be like, I have got to fix that. That's my fault, okay? And with that, you'll start, you know, critiquing the things that you're doing and how you're riding, where you're sitting, where you're looking, where's your hand, okay? Did I ride my horse enough? Was he too fresh? Was he, you know, was he sore? Was he, all this stuff that you, to be thinking about and taking, all right? Do I have any questions from anybody about anything I just showed that they're confused about?